things I was really curious to see what would happen is whether or not Robinhood's reaction to all this GameStop trading was going to cause any problems. And so I saw a lot of chatter this weekend. The CEO of Robinhood, his name's Vlad something. I don't have his last name in front of me, but Vlad went on to Clubhouse to talk to Elon Musk to try to explain his way out of the situation. To kind of explain, like, look, there wasn't anything corrupt going on. His argument was that this was all due, that the reason they shut down GameStop trading in the way that they did was because they had margin requirements that they had to meet, and that they got a call from the clearinghouse stating that they had to come up with $3 billion by this afternoon, or they would, or bad things were going to happen. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm very skeptical of his explanation. And the reason that a lot of people are very skeptical of his explanation is because Robinhood, unfortunately, is structured in a way where it's very easy to conclude that the people that pay most of their bills are going to have an influence on how they operate, just like anybody else, right? There's a company called Citadel that pays 1/3 of Robinhood's bills. They pay for order flow. They pay for when you make all your orders, all those orders go, a lot of them go through companies like Citadel, and Citadel pays Robinhood to give them access to, to the markets, right? So Citadel, unfortunately, had a financial stake in helping this particular company called Melvin Capital get out of its short position. So basically, Melvin Capital had the gun pointed to their head. The whole community had pretty much closed in on them. And allegedly, Citadel and Robinhood worked together to give Melvin Capital a backdoor out, help them sneak out of the building before the building burned down. Well, unfortunately. So I'm going to say this. I don't believe Robinhood's CEO. I just think that if their financial situation were different, like if they said, look, we can prove that we gained nothing financially from making this move, then that would make sense. But the fact that there's writing on the wall everywhere kind of makes them look ridiculous. Well, one of the things Robinhood did this week that spills into Monday is they actually restricted trading on a lot of stocks. I don't have the list in front of me, but there's a long list of stocks that Robinhood restricted trading on. And one of them, of course, was GameStop. And the particular restriction on GameStop, if I'm not mistaken, was that you could buy just one share of GameStop. One. Who buys stock and buys one share? That's insane. Who buys one share of stock at a time? Sorry, scratch that. Some of you maybe have, but this is not a one share at a time kind of thing. This is a people buying hundreds of shares, thousands of shares. Even at the $300 mark, some people got it like that. So this restriction is kind of crazy. And those who don't believe that the GameStop stock is tanking, I see someone skeptical, and I don't blame you for being skeptical. They said, who's paying boys to say GameStop is tanking when it's not? Well, sorry, homeboy, but I don't get paid by white folks. I'm a product of the black community. Believe me, white people hate me as much as you do right now. And so let me just say this. I don't know if you can define this as tanking or not, but let me just lay it out here, and I'm going to just sort of help you understand what might be going on here. The stock has dropped to $263 after being about $320 the day before. That's a 19% decline, And in case you want to kind of measure it against something, it's very rare that a stock drops 19% in one day, let alone 1 hour. It's bad if a company drops that much in 1 year. Right, a year, 19% in a year is a big number. 19% in an hour is unheard of. That's insane. That's ridiculous. So GameStop stock has tanked. But here's the thing: it's still severe. It's still really overpriced. I mean, it's still, if you got in this stock in the single or double digits, you probably made enough money to go buy your mama all the Red Lobster dinners you want, and with the cheddar biscuits included. Like, you could buy your mama whatever you want to get her, because you've probably made a killing on this. If you own just 1,000 shares of this stock, which might have only cost you maybe less than $10,000 a year ago, 2 months ago, then imagine 1,000 shares. That would be 300 or what, 200, $250,000 right now. So GameStop. But here's the problem, though. Even before all this happened, nobody I wouldn't have bought 1,000 shares of GameStop because I didn't see it as a company that had a future. I see it as a dinosaur. It'd be different if it were Tesla or some company that represents the future. But this company, Apple, okay. But GameStop, I wasn't touching GameStop. There was no analyst anywhere that I saw saying, yeah, buy GameStop, buddy. You're going to make a killing on GameStop. No, there's no reason to even have it in my portfolio. So I'm kind of mad, but I did make money on GameStop, actually. And I'm happy with the two, even with the price. Actually, in the time that I've been speaking to you, by the way, the price dropped another 2%. It dropped down to $255. So you may not think that's tanking, but according to technical definitions of what it means to have a really effed up day, GameStop's having an effed up day so far. Maybe it's going to have a good afternoon, though. I don't know, though. I mean, I think that there's a legitimate argument to be made that Robinhood's actions by restricting the amount of buying in the stock is going to be enough to keep the stock from really getting the momentum it needed to get to this point in the first place. Remember, Robinhood GameStop is kind of living off borrowed time. They're living off what I might call financial steroids. And the thing about these financial steroids, imagine if you took a steroid right now that made you the strongest human being on the planet and made you the fastest human being on earth, right? And imagine if these drugs only lasted for like half a day. Well, you would need a lot of dope in your arm for you to stay at that level, for you to stay pumped up like that. You ever see a NFL football player on steroids who goes like maybe 6 months without his drugs and he shrinks down like a little baby? This is what's happening with GameStop. This company's not worth $258.72, which is the current price right now. I got the price right in front of me. So basically, Robinhood I believe their actions did have a negative impact on the stock because when you restrict people to only being able to buy one share at a time, that's kind of crazy. One thing I'm going to do for you guys later on is on the Black Financial channel. Make sure you subscribe because I'm going to do a video later where I'm going to give you some alternatives to Robinhood that I like that you may want to take a look at because this really is a reminder that you don't want to have all your money on one app anyway. The amount of trust you might have had that Robinhood was the be all end all, don't have that trust in anything or anyone. One of the most important rules of investing is diversification. So if all your money's on Robinhood, you failed one of those tests right there. Right? You shouldn't have all your money on one app anyway. So it doesn't mean you get rid of your Robinhood. You can keep it if you want to. Just make sure you have a backup, have a plan B. And I got a plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, and plan F.